see them on become champions. Oh, 67. And then he's a Westman. The first game in the thousands. You see them on become champions.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Celtic Rumours TV, Bawz and Bovril podcast, episode number 187. With myself, Mark. Tonight we've got Big Jerry with us. How you doing, Jerry boy?
Superb, Marco. Yourself?
I'm fantastic. Brilliant day to be alive.
Oh,
and
superb.
Making his comeback, we've got the one and only. How you doing, Paul?
Good, buddy. Good. Couldn't miss the chat about the comedy goal today from Chris Boyd and the Belgian B. Just could not miss that coming out there and talking about that,
Oh, we'll get into it, but somewhat a laugh it's been all day, really has. This is a podcast for our forum, www.celticrumours.co.uk. The link to everything's in the description box below, the forum, our Discord. Join the Celtic pools and get a free bobble, Champions League bobble hat. You can do all that. Give some of the shout-outs to some of the guys in the forum. Shout-outs to Terence. Terence's wee lad, he starts school tomorrow. So all the best for that wee man. And his wife starts a new job as well, so good luck for that, Emma. Jerry McGinn, old Tim Alloy, JFP, Mikey, wee John United Islands coming on in 5-10 minutes or so. Big Jabber, Kev, Welshie, Malika. Out of breath doing that there. Who have we got in the chat? Bobby will have been first down as always. Evening, Bobby. Henky said it's just chasing him. There's a wee bit of bromance going on here, I think, with Bobby and Henky, isn't there, Jerry?
I know half.
On that Discord, man, sitting flirting with each other, the Oilers in the morning and that.
They'll get 2K there now if they want to sell pictures.
Yeah. They're Mikey in the chat. Evening, Mikey. Brian, nice to see you, Brian. Grot Bags, thanks for coming in. Just didn't have much choice with my thank her first. David Gallagher, nice to see you, mate. Patrick McLaughlin, Red Scotland, that was some rant you had on the transfer window in the comments section, by the way, Red, well done. Evening, Greg. Wally, nice to see you, Wally. Rod Patel. Pulse Boy, Derek Murphy. I think that's a new name, a new guy, Derek. Thanks very much for coming in, lads, anyway. Hope I've not missed anybody there. No, I don't think I've missed anybody. Well, what about that then? Did any well, I mean, it was. I don't know how to actually start the show. Jerry, on you go. You've just finished watching the game, so what was your take on it?
I obviously, as you know, I can't watch it live, man, because my blood pressure gets through the roof. I don't know how anybody can enjoy it. It's not enjoyable for me at all. But we were in the old boys and watched it. The Monkeys started the first 5-10 minutes. They started, by their standards, not too bad. After the disallowed goal, well, if it was disallowed, that's when we kicked on and we were in total control after that. Callum McGregor, for last season, a lot of people, including on here, had written him off and thought he was finished. Was fantastic. So was Bernardo, but the whole team were that's one thing that you've got to give them credit, especially Rodgers. They're a hard working team. They don't give teams a minute. They lose the ball, they'll work like Trojans to get it back, and they back each other up. Fantastic to see. As I say, the Belgian Beale, man, he's on thin ice, but you want to keep him there a bit longer. It's good stuff.
What about you, Paul?
Oh, geez, where do I start, Mark? You know, what Joy was saying there about Callum Mack, and I think what we're seeing from Brendan Rodgers with Callum Mack, and what we didn't see with Ange is Rodgers seems to give him that license to go forward, where Ange didn't. Ange wanted him there around the centre circle, kind of controlling the play, controlling the way we pass. But as Roger said in his pre-match, like he knows what Callum Mack can do. He knows he has a shot in him, and it's proven. Like is it the 3-4 goals so far this season?
Mm-hmm.
You know, when's the last time we saw Callum Mack get those kind of goals? Was under Brendan Rodgers in his first stint. So I'm wondering, has Rodgers given him that much more freedom to go forward? Because the reason I'm saying that is because with the inverted full backs, when Callum Mack is kind of pushing up, Taylor's more than likely in that kind of defensive midfielder role.
Yep.
Aye, I think you'd maybe be right, Paul, because I was speaking to Mikey about this, and I said it on the podcast before. It's like the change under Maeda, the change in Maeda under Rodgers.
Mm-hmm.
I think to the same extent, Rodgers has said to him, like at some point last year, look, let yourself go, relax, go and express yourself more. And that's when he started getting the daft haircuts and smiling and everything. Do you know what I mean? I mean, Maeda scored and he very rarely really kind of, do you know what I mean, get excited and stuff like that. But you're actually seeing a bit more of his, like his personality coming out when you see him on the field. So when they surprise me if he's done something like that. Just 2 seconds and now see some shout outs to some people here. Stephen Colthart, thanks for coming in, Stephen. Cameron, nice to see you, bud. But Estepona boy was there as well, I'm sure. Good evening, Estepona boy. Alex Forsyth, nice to see you, mate.
Mm-hmm. I think as well, Mark, that we were always going to expect Rangers to be in the front foot at the start of this game. They had to show their fans that they're going to be up for this game. They're going to attack. But the minute, as Joey said there, that or disallowed goal thing, the momentum changed. We just grew in confidence. We got our passing back together. Do you mean some of the passages played there? Some of the balls that Rio Hatasi was played there today, those just slick passes through the centre. I mean, you're not stopping them, like, and how we use the space and everything. It's just like we really want kind of doing this on Ange. And what we're seeing from Brendan Rodgers now is that the players know his system, and the pre-season has been good. And how good was Kuhn again today? Like, you know, the balls he was putting in there today. Maeda missed one, Kyogo missed one. Could have been 4-5 there today, even a half time. You know?
Definitely, aye. I mean, it was, we should have had them dead and buried before half time. There was some and even throughout the game, there was some poor finishes, poor attempts. Sitters getting missed. The Kyogo one, the Hatati one. I mean, I know what you're saying about that, Paul. Hatati, some of his balls were cracking passes and that, but he was anonymous for a large part, wasn't he? That's but I think for this season, for what we've seen from the last couple of weeks, that's Hatati's worst game this season.
But I think, Mark, that's because Callum Mack just grabbed that game today, and we've seen that now in the last couple of derbies. You know, we were always saying the midfield needs to be won, and that's where we were losing out, and we didn't see kind of Callum Mack in previous derbies, because me and you in the podcast previously with Terence and stuff like that, we said it was like he was always kind of covering an agent Scott Brown in that midfield. And now that he's the main man, he's grabbing that midfield. Like that fella today, what's his name? Domande, is it? Whatever his name is?
Aye.
He was trying to man mark him, and even Chris Boyd even said it, like, how do you man mark him when he's such an intelligent player? He knows when to draw the players in, and he knows when to go into space. And today he was telling players where to go, where to expect the next pass, and that's how we started making that space today. Like 3-0 it actually flatters them. Like that was a domination today. Like it really, really was. You know, and you could see the gap, not just financial, but in players. I heard a great one today. Clement was saying, oh, they have more experienced players. Their average age is much greater than us. The average age of Celtic team is between 26 and 27. And the Rangers team is 26. Do you know what I mean? You know, he's on about average age of players is why they lost the game. I'm looking going, you're just losing the plot every time I hear you.
Going on about how much money we've got to spend.
Yeah.
I mean, the actual irony of a Rangers manager coming out with that kind of talk for anybody that's lived through like the 90s and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Just, I mean, when the Chris Boyd meltdown was fantastic, and then I sat and watched it to Brendan Rodgers get interviewed, and I just turned to her. I never even gave it a thought, and it was Mikey that said to me, "Have you seen Baldermore?" So I went and looked up. Oh, he's close in the plot, really. He definitely is. Even though, G, nice to see you, mate. I've not seen you for ages. Thanks for coming in, bud. Zorro as well. Nice to see you.
He said they had 4 shots. I can't remember 4 shots. Did they have 4 shots? I can't remember that at all. You know, what game he was watching.
The Dessers one. But
and
it just
did Matondo's that he should have scored? Was it Matondo? And Dessers, his was offside. The two of them were all got to be offside anyway. They dame and then.
Was that Dessers one offside? Aye.
Aye, they did it. Aye, he was offside.
Well, I suppose he got a modern victory sore in the first 2 chances of the game. You know, which he'll probably take confidence from. You know.
Clement said there'd been 3-3 on BBC Scotland. Holy.
Could have, and would have, but it wasn't. Get it up on.
But
I know.
I haven't been on for the start of the season, but for a while anyway. So, but how good is Kasper Schmeichel's distribution? You know.
Oh, it's different gravy. He knows where he's putting the ball before.
Do you know, like, there's no nervousness there, Jerry, when he gets the ball. So isn't this, you know?
He knows what he's got to be doing. His mind's made up. His mind's made up. Willie had put a comment on about Scales and Taylor, sent a message out to the new players that will be there to shift. I thought, for all the criticism the two of them take, Scales was outstanding and he started this season superb. So I'm not a fan of you sign somebody and then just bring them in. Scales has done nothing to merit getting dropped, as is Taylor. I know we've got European games coming up, but it's got to be hard. It's a shame. If I was Scales and I had just to get dropped for this new boy coming in, I'd be going tonto. So I'm hoping it's not a case they just walk straight into the team and they earn their place.
No, I wouldn't like to think so, because I mean, well, Scales.
He started the stronger at the two of the two.
Aye,
I
thought Carter Vickers looked a bit better than a bit more like his old self. Do you know the day than he did?
Yep.
But I mean, Scales. He's got the odd mistake in him. But tell me, what defender isn't he? If Scales was at that level, he wouldn't be at Celtic.
His passing's been a bit better this season though, as well. That was one thing I let him down.
But domestically, he's never going to let us down. Do you know what I mean? But it is again taking that step up in Europe. But I mean, is this guy Big Justy? Is he any better than Scales?
I've no idea.
I mean, I've read a few things about him, Mark, and like there seems to be kind of mixed reviews about him. Some fans are saying they're sorry to see him go, but other fans then from Sheffield United are saying they're delighted to see him go, that he's a bomb scare. You know, so there's
Rodgers' judgment.
Yeah, like there's kind of mixed reviews in there. Like we don't know till we kind of see him. Like I don't really watch the first division down the thing. Like, so I don't know much about him, but I presume Rodgers would have got some information about him as well off Carter Vickers. Do you know?
Aye, but I mean, for me, I don't think I'm not dropping Scales for Trusty right away. Just
like if you go on form, if you go on the last couple of games, you'd be nearly saying at the moment he'd be replacing Carter Vickers the way he was kind of playing the last couple of games, bar today, you know.
I see what Brian's saying there. He's one of the players like Starfelt. He'll divide opinions. That's what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Evening, Howard Moon. Nice to see you, mate. Thanks for coming in.
Aye.
But about Bernardo today?
I mean, he was outstanding.
Oh,
He was brilliant.
man.
And again, I think so a couple of people had put out teams in text messages saying they would start that you boy Arnie, but I was saying, well, what's Bernardo done to deserve being dropped? It's you don't want to see players if players have been deserved to be dropped, then fair dues. But see if they're playing well, they deserve to hold on to the jersey and create a bit of competition for places. So no, I thought Bernardo was fantastic, and listen, he's only going to get better.
I
Roger
think
works
so.
his magic with O'Reilly. So Bernardo, with the more games he gets, the more experience he gets, and when he gets up to full fitness, we've got a cracking player in our hands with him, and it's great competition we're going to be having all over the pitch.
With all the games as well, Mark,
what I noticed about Bernardo today was he's brought that physicality to the midfield that we've been lacking.
Yep.
I mean, he likes a tackling.
I mean, he was like a dog with a stick chasing that ball about the park today. And I said, is it because people are, what's he taking Bernardo off? They should have took Hatate off. I'm thinking to myself, as Brendan Rodgers said to Bernardo, look, give me 60 minutes
as well, Mark. Do you think?
Get right in there. 60 minutes, give me 60 minutes. He'd been my guard dog out there, my attack dog. He says, I'll get you off and we'll get one of the new boys on. Because if we can keep that up for 90 minutes, man, it's a drug test we'll be needing to give the guy.
That was I think that's the strongest bench I think we've seen for a long time at Celtic, Mark. That bench today, you're bringing on
the squad as a whole,
international players as well. Like, you're not bringing on the likes of Mickey Johnson, who, thank God, won't be getting a testimonial at fucking Celtic.
But see, overall, the actual quality in the squad and the balance in the squad is, and this might sound a bit silly, but if you actually think back over the years, it's probably up there as the best we've had for like Martin O'Neill's type of time, maybe Gordon Strachan.
Yep.
It really is for actual. I mean, really, we've got two players for each position, and that's basically a manager's kind of dream, if you know what I mean. If you get two decent, well, one good player and one decent player for two good players for every position, most managers would take your horn off for that.
Yep.
I mean, I was saying to Mike earlier on about it. I said, we went out there the day with last year's team and beat them, right? So we're looking forward. We look at our bench and we're looking forward to seeing what these new guys can do. How do you think the Huns felt sitting when we're pumping them and then saying they've got £30 million of talent sitting in their bench still?
I think they probably felt like wrecking the team bus when it got back to Ibrox. So it's as you say, and it's been fantastic. See the way he shifted. You don't want to call it deadwood, but the ones that are taking up a wage for nothing, being too big. The bloated squad. There's no point in having a bloated squad. You want to try and keep it manageable. Try to keep everything on their toes, giving them games in competition for places. Before we were stockpiling players that we'd no chance of getting a game that we didn't need. But no, today was a fantastic all-round performance. And as I say, we're talking about having Bernardo on there and being able to bring on Engels, and then you've got McCown to come on and all the rest of it. So the squad's looking superb. As I say, would maybe want a winger as another centre forward, but that's only for Europe. Domestically, we're going to be streets ahead.
Do you know that Robert Stove's available in a free? I'd take it. I mean, we thought Rodgers was looking for a winger. He's 28 and he's in a free. Meantime, we were in for a while back in the Norwegian guy.
Aye, that was a good few years ago.
But he's only 28.
There's a reason he's maybe free though. Which he's sitting there with no team. We'll wait and see. Dele Alli's on it and all.
He's get but do you know what I mean? You need to a lot of hard work to get him up, but it would definitely be worth it if you could. And Rodgers might be the man to do that.
If you could get him right, Mark, what I said to you there, if you could get him right, he'd be like Sinclair when he came up to Celtic when he was off form and stuff like that. If you could get Dele Alli's head right and show him that he's wanted. I think that's all he needs. Like when he's with Pochettino, Pochettino showed him that he was wanted at the club and he was one of the main men, and that's when he played his best football. And then when he left, and it just went downhill, and he went into depression. Like, you know, it's
a lot of problems. But it's if he could overcome them, what a player he
Mm-hmm.
would. But it's all left spots and maybes. Because I've had Joe Hart playing in the centre of the park the day after that.
Aye.
It was good.
Did they actually attack the bus outside Ibrox? I seen them shooting I didn't know they'd actually attacked it.
Shouting that he started saying to him as well, Mark, that they had 4 shots in goal and Celtic had 4 shots, and one fella said, yeah, but Dysel didn't fucking score those 4 shots. Do you know what I mean? The meltdown, man, is just fucking starting, right? You know. And
that's just starting for him. I mean, that's.
And then they were shouting at them. Was that fella that defender that came on, Mark? Belagon, is it? What's his name?
Aye.
Balogun.
He came on. He came off the bus and they started shouting at him. He said, "I only just came on for the last 15 minutes, and we were already down 3-0."
Don't blame me.
Don't blame me, like, you know what I mean? I only just came on for the last few minutes, he said. You know? Jesus Christ, man. You know?
But it's, that's 4 games going, and they're 5 points behind us in Aberdeen. And they're away to Dundee United next week.
Dundee United won. So Dundee United are up there. Aberdeen are up there in the 104th now.
Oh.
Dundee United won. Do you know what I was going to say? See, in the 5 games that we've played, the Belgian Beal, he's tried umpteen different tactics and formation, and nothing's worked. I mean, the day...
See them passing that about the back the day?
Aye.
They didn't have a clue. They didn't have a clue what today, man.
They were trying to make us draw somebody out and try and drag them out of position. And he tried everything. He tried to keep his front 3 tight and leave kind of more space for his wingers or his fullbacks. Never worked. He tried to stop us passing through the middle. I thought they would be able to stop us passing through the middle. Never worked. He tried to go one of the previous game, man for man. Never worked. He's tried absolutely everything and nothing's come off. But yeah,
I think he's better off just not putting out a fucking team at this stage, isn't he?
Aye. Well, good. Long may it continue. It's games like this when you absolutely pump them. You wish the fans were in so you could lock them into sing and dance, so they've got to endure it. But that's the only way I missed them inside. But he's tried 4 or 5 different tactics to try and stifle us or stop us from playing or whatever, and none of them have worked. He's going to lose the plot. He's going to be running ideas to try and play against us.
I can see him. He'll be sacked because he was after thumping one of the players or something like that. He just looks like that kind of manager, don't he?
It wouldn't surprise me if he did do something pure absolutely crazy like that, Paul.
Thump Tavernier, and Tavernier will give an interview saying he was disappointed by the thump.
But you know, I mean, imagine, put yourself right. God forbid you were born one of them, but put yourself in their position, you know, right, and look at their team. Right, their captain Tavernier. He was told before the end of last season he wasn't going to be the captain this season. They were waiting on these multi-million-pound bids coming in all during the summer for him, never materialised, and he's just that's it. The wind is shut, and he's still running about as captain. It just shows you how much a cluster the full
exactly
club is.
They did the exact same thing with that player that I just said. They're better one fella. Like he left, and they brought him back again because they couldn't sign no one.
He was probably.
I won't be surprised if they bring Roof and Jack back. To be honest, you know,
because they're in a free, isn't they? They're in a free still. They're sitting free.
Yeah.
What about James Forrester making his 500th appearance a day going through the academy? Unreal.
Fair play to him. I mean, I've been a big critic of him all the year, but you can't argue with that.
No.
How you doing, John?
All right, Mark. I'm good, mate. How are you?
I'm fine, bud. How's it going with you? How's life?
It's all right. I just plodding away, mate, day at a time.
You happy today?
I hear them in, mate. The first 10 minutes, I was a bit right to look up for this, and we were a wee bit slow, but after that, we just went to gear, didn't we, and ran right with them. They were looking a wee bit sharp the first 10 minutes, but I think after we scored that goal, but obviously it choked off, I think it just kind of took a sail at me a wee bit, the wind out ourselves. And for there, we just dominated the game.
they had to come out the traps flying. That was the thing about it. Do you know what I mean? Just as long as Celtic soaked that up, because there's nothing else. I mean, they've turned up the other day. They knew if Celtic played to any kind of extent how good we can play, they didn't have a hope in hell. If he'd done an off day, they might have got a draw. They've come out, as you said, they did a good first 10 minutes. But once once things settled down, there was only ever going to be one winner the other day. It was just going to be a case of how much.
100%. Because I took about 5 or 6 off him. Just obviously kind of the chances in it wasted a wee bit. There was a kind of few chances it was slough, but overall I'm happy. I think we're just going to stomp this league now, and I can see another treble coming.
Do you think we'll go the full league season undefeated, any lads? What about using the chat or that?
Jesus, man.
A chance into we're playing well. I think we'll do well in Europe this year. I think we're going to kind of surprise everybody in Europe as well. I can see us doing good now. The team's looking quite strong. Obviously, the depth for the part. Our midfield's looking strong. For the players we've got in it now. The signings have made it good strong midfield as well.
I mean, a lot can happen between now and the end of the season, but the way that we've got after the start of the season, I don't see how we can aim for that anyway. I think it'll be a long time before we actually get beat. I'll say that anyway. I don't foresee us getting beat this side of Christmas.
Jonas touch.
Nah. When have I ever been, man? I tell you we were going to win the league last year.
Well,
I tell you to stop arse collapsing all that transfer window, and what happened?
And then you need to confirm that Kyogo's been listening to this podcast. Because you also said that Butland can't dive to his left. And he's still waiting to get down, man. As if he was falling out of a wheelchair trying to get down to that. He never had a clue where he was.
Nah, it's a good
goal.
Oh my
God, though, but did you see Butland's positioning for the Kyogo goal?
Exactly.
Jesus Christ, it was like the whole left-hand side was just open. Do you know what I mean? The ball was already in the net by the time he freaking dived.
That's exactly it. But Mark's always said that he's slogging down to his bottom left. Although he did take a good save for one of his defenders. But his positioning was horrendous, and then the speed of him getting down there was quite poor as well. So Kyogo listens to this. So Mark, there's more credit to you, Marco.
Aye.
Even he's listening to you.
It was good to take Kyogo in. He was sharp. He was getting in behind quite well too. So he was, man.
He made a couple of good runs that maybe Vickers could have spotted him a bit earlier, and then Hitati could have threaded him maybe a wee bit better or earlier as well. But his running was first class.
He's looked sharp. We could still for pre-season as well. He kind of looked up for it this season. He was sharp in pre-season as well.
Yes,
but you can see that you can see as well the difference in what Brendan Rodgers wants to do with Kyogo, rather than Ange just kind of wanted Kyogo in the box and kind of get the balls crossed early to get Kyogo the space there. But now we're seeing Kyogo's pass there when he just did the turn and just passed the ball there. I don't know who was it. Was it Tamida or was it the Kuhn? But he just one touch and the pass was gone. Kyogo's distribution is actually very, very good when he comes in deep and he gets the ball and he turns. Kyogo's passing is actually very, very good. You know.
I've said that for Kyogo came in, Paul. That I would like to see him
number
playing
10 role, Mark.
Aye.
Yeah. You know, very, very good. But of all my years watching the derbies, I've never ever seen a Rangers player having a fear over a Celtic player, Mark, in Tavernier against Maeda. You know what I mean? He must be shitting himself inside that fucking tunnel.
Did you see his face when Bernardo was chasing him down? And then the next thing Maeda popped up and on, Tavernier just kind of looked about to say, what am I meant to do here? That was just, you knew that he was lost. You knew then that he just lost it.
But even
that big Diamondi, I know, he wasn't interested in that today.
No, I thought he was getting sent off. I think, you know, if he was lucky to be still in that pitch among the fouls he was doing. You know?
Aye, he was. See maybe when I go up because he was starting to hold bits of his body. Do you know what I mean? As if he were, you could tell that he just wasn't interested in it.
We're in their head. That's the thing, Mark. They and they've pointed it out. Even that clown Boyd had pointed it out. Tavernier was jogging back when he's losing possession, trotting back. You've seen Kyle go run the 100 odd yards to get back, make tackles.
Exactly.
That's how when you've got that bit between your teeth and that determination, something that when they're mentally fragile, if it's not just completely broken, smashed into pieces in now, it would have been after that game. They're no. They will beat us at all this season, that's for sure.
No.
That's for sure. We've got their number, and it stems for their manager as well. He's a crackpot, and the rest of the team, they've just mentally...
He is, Brian. He really is. The more and more I see him, the more I'm going...
The Belgian...
What in the name of God is he actually saying? Like, you know?
Didn't it say that? The 6-0 win last week?
I can't make sense of what games he be actually... What he quoted today that he said the 6-9 victory over Ross County last week was the best.
I think that was a misstatement what the boy wrote, Paul. It was the 6-9. Aye. What happened?
Well, he was going on about it for a week.
But remember what
it's
happened?
Ross County, Mark. Do you get me?
I know they get beat with Spartans the week before.
Yeah, you know.
I mean, I've said that they need a manager that's an absolute crackpot. See if they did get a manager.
That's why Van Bronckhorst, Mark, didn't sue him, because he spoke the truth, you know. And they had a good manager on him. I think if he would have stayed, he actually could have won a title with them because he was a decent manager.
See, like see the money they gave Egypt Beale. See if it kept Van Bronckhorst and gave him that kind of money and gave him a couple of seasons, they would be a lot closer to us. I've no doubt about that. But they don't. If you're not a ranting, raving lunatic, the fans just turn on you. That's basically it.
Yeah.
Who cares about them, man? Fuck them.
Yeah, but it's just fun. It's funny. We need to. I mean, we need to laugh at them tonight. That's what it's all about.
Alec Ray's wee bald coupon. Did you see him?
Aye.
You get heard. Oh.
Who's that?
Alec Ray.
Oh, the
baldy.
And then they showed the hard boy Barry Ferguson who got a fucking water boy haircut. So what did he do to himself?
A water boy haircut.
You know.
Do something. See that,
and the Celtic fans then doing the huddle in front of the Rangers board of directors. The Celtic fans doing the huddle in front of. I thought that was brilliant. By them all just sitting down, you know. Don't even have money between the fucking 10 of them to buy themselves a cup of tea. I say they don't. You know.
See the boy Conor Barron. See all the first. I mean, Mark, you had said that if we had been interested in him, we would have ended up here. There's a reason that he wasn't here. He was
exactly.
You can't just single one boy out, but see, about half an hour into that game, he was getting into positions, making it look as if he was wanting the ball, but he was standing behind men. He was making it look as if
it was hiding.
Hiding. Nobody could get past the bottom. And I thought to myself, that's the reason. You were met by a world beater and world class, and what a centre mid, and you were going to do this. But there's a reason that we never signed him. Mentality and just he's no got it either. But he was hiding. I noticed that he was getting himself into positions where there's no chance. Horns in the air and all that, no chance that MD could pass the bottom. And I thought, it's you're hiding. You've no got the.
You know, you're just talking about mentality there, Jerry. There, like what about James Forrest there making his 500 appearance for Celtic, and Cal McGregor's not far behind him. Like, how important is to have two of them still in the Celtic dressing room who are still hungry to win titles and win cups for Celtic, to still have that winning mentality, and anyone who comes into the club, like you've seen Coombe there last season, wasn't the player we thought he was, and then this season he's in around the Celtic squad, he's getting to know the club, he's getting to know the team. That winning mentality from them, it just breeds through the whole club.
I said it on the podcast during the week. I thought it was after the game the other week. Cal McGregor and Alistair Johnson was talking. They were asking him about Matt O'Reilly, and Cal McGregor was saying when the players come in, he says, and we drill this winning mentality into them. They learn how to win matches and stuff like that. And Alistair Johnson was standing behind him, like agreeing,
Yeah.
doing that as if to say, that's just the way, and that's just what Celtic do. And Matt will go with the best of wishes, and the new guys will come in and they'll get the same thing drilled into
you.
them.
Could even push Anthony Ralston into that, and I've no doubt this young lad, Luke McCowan, Mark, will have it as well, because
McCowan will be the exact same.
It's actually very important to have players in your club who actually have Celtic blood in them as well,
Exactly. That's what we were saying about the McCown signing. You're wanting a core of Scottish players in there that know what the club's about and what it's all about, so that they might not be the world beaters, but they're, as you've said, Paul, folk like Anthony Ralston, it would run through a brick wall for Celtic. Maybe no be the best. He's limited, but he gives you absolutely everything.
But isn't that credit to him though as well? Like, isn't that credit to Anthony Ralston there? Like that, like Rogers brought in the via the new left back, but we haven't been looking for any right backs for the last couple of seasons, because Anthony Ralston at the moment is a handy back, and I think he knows that's his position, backup right back, and he's happy to and bring him in. You won't be worried if you had to bring him into a game, No,
he'll get. He's domestically 100%. He's fine. He gives you. He gives you everything he's got. He knows what the club's about. There's no chance he's going to duck out of challenges or no bust his ass to get back. Going forward, European wise, sometimes you'll maybe get caught out, but hey, who cares? There's levels, and he's somebody that you always want to have about, and that's how with the McCown signing. There was a few folk writing him off before he even got here, but I'm happy that he's a petrol thrower like the rest of us, so he'll be all right. He'll be fine.
What are you saying to it, John? What's your take on that?
Who, McCowan? Aye, a few weeks ago I never really knew much about him. I kind of started looking into him a wee bit, and when I was just watching me clips of him and stuff, I was kind of impressed with him, and just obviously the way he's speaking and stuff, like you can just see a confidence oozing at him, and you can tell he's obviously he's glad to be here. You can tell when he's on that part, he's going to play for the jersey as well. Also being a boyhood Celtic fan too, obviously it comes into it, doesn't it? Helps obviously to push him on and fight for his place and that as well. But I'm really impressed with obviously the way he speaks and that, the way he comes across, and I think he's got to be a top player for us. I think he's going to force himself into that squad. I don't think he's going to come here just to be kind of like a squad player and just happy to be here. I think he says that in his interview today as well. I'm not just here to obviously be a Celtic player. I'm obviously going to be want to be obviously in the squad, in the first team and that. So I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully he gets more game time as well. But we're set in midfield. It's looking quite strong now, so it's going to take a lot of both forces right in there.
But we've got a lot of games to play. There's plenty.
That's what I was going to say, Mark. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of games,
No disrespect to McCowan. He's no start. He's no. I wouldn't imagine he's got to be starting in Champions League games for us if everybody's fit. Do you know what I mean?
He could start, Mark. We say the Champions League game there, if Callum McGregor or Bernardo and stuff are playing, and if you're playing the likes of Ross County on the Saturday,
exactly.
The game, then you could throw the likes of McCowan, and then do you know what I mean? Rest. Like there's no need for Callum to be playing all these games this season either.
And maybe one of the things about that is, Paul, that we've not had a player. I mean, I keep going on about the CDM, but we've not got a player like Cal McGregor, and McCowan is probably closest to that type of player. So maybe that's been the reason we've no, because if it's no McGregor or somebody like him, it would break up the rhythm of the team kind of thing or that. But I mean, people in the chat are talking about it. I think that could be. I think he could take the crown as future Celtic captain after Stephen Welsh. I really do. Somebody's got to, please, somebody could be Luke McCowan. Can you imagine Mikey if Luke McCowan became Celtic captain in 2 or 3 years' time? I think Mikey's his age. I think Mikey's his agent.
McGregor will still be there 2 or 3 years' time.
I think so.
I think Mark, if he's still there, I think it could be Alistair Johnson. He is that. Yeah, he's that kind of voice about him, like captain material. I think about him like he's not afraid to freaking shout. I say, that kind of a thing, like
I've not see the thing with Cal McGregor. I mean, he's 31 now. And I mean, I know he's trained like a devil, you know what I mean? I learned how to train after Scott Brown and stuff like that, but he's played like Kieran Tierney, he's played a hell of a lot of games in his career, do you know what I mean? I tend to think, I don't know if McGregor's going to be able to play on the top level. He's like 34 and that, I really don't.
Not the way he plays the game, Mark, but you know what though? What we're seeing the last couple of games under Brendan Rodgers is vintage Cal McGregor, the vintage, you know what I mean?
Oh, aye.
Getting forward and banging in these goals. Like I thought those days were kind of well beyond Cal McGregor, and that's why he was kind of put into this deeper role, because he couldn't do that role. But my God, have I been like, but that just shows Brendan Rodgers, Mark, didn't it? Like, we thought Scott Brown's career was over, and then when Brendan Rodgers came in, he just turned Scott Brown's career around. Do you know what I mean? He extended his career by another couple of years. Thing. Like, we could see that as well with McGregor. Brendan Rodgers could make him to adapt, Mark, to different playing.
I maybe just being a complete and utter like sitting midfielder, no doing much leg work. Maybe that.
Yeah.
It's like I've said as well. I'd say like James Forrest.
How slick does he look? Slim and stuff like that this season. You know?
I mean, see, obviously, I mean, he still can shift again. Fair play here. Like, doesn't seem to have lost any speed. But see, even if he does start to lose a bit of speed, see again, if we're a wee tinker with the team when we're playing like a Ross County at home or something like that, James Forrest for me could play like one of the attacking midfielder roles easily, like the central roles.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Just controlling it and passing it about, spotting passes and stuff like that. James Forrest could easily do that.
Age James Forrest now? He's only 33, 34, isn't he?
34 off the top of my head. They're coming up in 34.
I mean, it's going to be a long time, not just for Celtic, but in football in general, for a player after Callum and James Forrest to get 500 league games for a club. You know, not just at Celtic, but in football in general. It's just the way it has changed now, like, hasn't it? You know,
33 the new year's John.
33.
Aye.
You've still got another few years, I'd say, probably next 2 years, I think.
Because he said that he doesn't want to play for anybody else, didn't he?
That's him. He's set to retire, isn't he? He's kind of got his
contract. I think he's on a year-to-year contract anyway. His contract runs out at the end of the season. I don't know if that's still kind of Celtic's like MO, minded. There was always if you were 30, you want to get a year deal kind of thing. I don't know if they still do that. They won't have done that. Surely they won't have done that with McGregor.
Or Schmeichel.
No, he's only signed a year's deal with a year's option, hasn't he, Schmeichel?
Celtic's got the option on the year, but in it.
He's a unit, isn't he?
Maybe a mutual thing.
It was like looking at his dad today, that save there from McCluskey there, like today, like he just played himself. It was like Schmeichel spreading himself. Like you could easily know that he's learned off his dad as well, couldn't you? You know, Casper. You know.
I mean, you're into your goalkeepers and that, Paul. But how big an upgrade do you think Schmeichel is on Joe Hart?
Oh, Mark, I think it's coming out. You see corners there, like Schmeichel's not afraid to come out from to gather the ball and stuff like that. The calmness at his feet is. But I'm not dissing Joe Hart either. You know, Joe Hart pulled off some magnificent save. Joe Hart was a decent stopper, great stopper. But I think Mike Schmeichel as a whole is a top keeper. You know, Joe Hart
was a good goalkeeper, but Peter Schmeichel, Kasper Schmeichel's a better, what you call it, a sweeper keeper.
Yeah, like an all-around, Mark, like the modern keeper, like you think. I think Schmeichel does, and I think the benefit as well is he's played with Rodgers. Do you know what I mean? And he knows the way Rodgers wants to play. Like even his throw-ins, they're like, it's like watching Peter when he throws the ball. It's gone past the halfway line into me, and I think that's going to be one of the biggest assets this season.
Kasper Schmeichel have a couple of assists this season.
Yeah, definitely, Mark, definitely.
How quickly? I mean, under Ange, it was all when the ball was going out to play, it was just bouncing back on. It wasn't as much under Rodgers last year. But did you notice the day? The ball wasn't even hit the ground, going by Kasper Schmeichel on the next ball on the deck, ready to put it back into play. Just relent, and that's what you want. He knows when to keep it, slow it down, to try and keep. Do you know what I mean? Right, we'll pass out for the back, and he knows when to get the ball on the deck and try and get a counter attack on the start.
But I still want to kind of see. I still wonder, will he actually get a game? Is with what's his name? How would you pronounce his name?
It's
the young guy.
Sinula, whatever his name is.
The new guy, aye.
Fuck, we still don't know what he's like. You know what I mean? So is he ready to step in yet for a League Cup game, or do you think Rodgers will kind of give him that year just to learn out of Schmeichel, and then next season we might see him come in a bit more? You know.
I think you'll need to give him a cup game or something. At least a wee bit of experience, but kind of.
There's me telling Mark like he can't pronounce either wrong. He can't even pronounce the new fucking signings.
I know. Cheeky, you man. Imagine if I was listening to the podcast back just to let you know that you and Jerry are pronouncing Big E doesn't name wrong. It's pronounced Ida, no Ida. I thought, yeah, cheeky, we get you. You've sat there and stumbled their Scottish guys' names and everything. Plays for England.
It's good to be back.
See, go back.
If you've never listened to this before, when Paul's on, things can get a bit out there. Just to forewarn people, Paul get a tendency to just go off in mad, crazy rants about stuff.
Just thank God Todd Cantwell has moved down down south. I said, because if I had another season on this podcast, Mark, I'd be arrested.
You get back to what we're talking about, the team hard working. See any young player watching that, be it Celtic or in the stands or whatever, with the way that Maida, Kyogo, the whole team, Callum McGregor, apply themselves during the game, work their socks off, don't give players a minute's rest, and then obviously the way they train, that's what you're hoping that any youngster coming through watches that, and especially at Celtic, and that's what they realise it takes to be getting a game for Celtic. You need to work hard. The talent's all right having the talent, but you've got to work hard as well. And it's I think obviously having Rodgers there helps, because I don't think he'd let
definitely can't see Johnny, because what you were saying there a while ago, I mean, I think it was around the 75th minute, maybe the 80th, around the 75th, I think, before Ida came on, is when Tavernier was in our box, and Kyogo was the one who put in the tackle. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's something we didn't see on the Ange in Kyogo doing that. You know, Kyogo was always the one that was kind of leading the line, and he was the one who stayed up there. But under Rodgers, you're seeing a collective group of players helping each other out. Do you know what I mean? Kyogo doesn't have to be the last man forward anymore. Do you know what I mean? It could be me, it could be Kyogo, it could be Kuhn, could be up there, you know. And I think that's what Rodgers has brought there. That everyone tracks back, and I think that's what we saw, Mark, in Rodgers' previous seasons as well, Mark. Everyone tracks back. Everyone plays their part in the game. Rodgers doesn't want Kyogo to score 20, 25 goals. Rodgers wants Kyogo in the group, collectively making these chances for other players to get the goals rather than him being the main person, you know.
That's a fair point, Paul.
But it's fantastic. It's the work should be fun for a lot of people tomorrow.
I know. Did they talk to you or that, Jerry? John?
No. I've started a new job, so I'm a Partick Thistle fan.
Oh, you know, broke cover yet? No.
You've got to suss them out.
Obviously,
I know quite a few.
There, no, I mean, you're here, you kind of.
The last job, there'll be a few probably the lurkers listening in. if they've not already smashed their phone up and smashed the house up and the bat up the
Or
missus.
smashed
But-
his wife up.
Exactly. So if you're listening in, Paul, Jim, James, anyone, Davey, how you doing?
Get it right up, you.
Aye.
Get it right up.
Aye.
Just one thing there, with
Evening
actually there.
420, well, evening 420, mate. Nice to see you again. Anton 22, thanks for coming in, bud.
It was like during the transfer window, Celtic kind of they refused they refused an offer for Palmer for some French team. Do you think Rodgers actually sees something in Palmer, Mark, or they just didn't want to do business because of the lack of wingers we have in the squad, or do you think he has a? Because it must be think for him, Mark. If James Forrest is coming on before him, do you know what I mean? You know,
it was a weird one. I thought the Celtic had turned down the move for Palmer, but maybe that's because we couldn't get a winger like Rodgers' winger in. I mean, I think it was pretty obvious he wanted a winger, tried to get that young boy for, was it Napoli or Lazio?
Lazio. Was it
Lazio.
Aye.
And that's how I was saying up to Friday night, it wouldn't surprise me if they pulled something out of the bag with a winger, but I think if Rodgers had got a winger in, I don't think Palmer would have still been here. That's just unless it's you say, Paul, you see something in him. I mean, I like him. You can tell that he's got good ability, but he's not a winger. For me,
You think he worked hard enough for Rodgers, though?
Well, that's a thing as well.
But that's what I was thinking.
It reminds me of Rogic. That's who Palmer reminds me of Rogic.
Yeah, he's not a good work rate, you know.
But that's my thing. Like he's not the type of player for me who would track back. You know, we've seen it loads of times when he came on. That left-hand side was isolated because Taylor used to be moving in, and then there used to be no one down the left. And Palmer would be up the other side of the pitch, and then it'd be Scales then getting the grief because he didn't get across to clear the ball. Do you know what I mean? And when you look up the line, it was Palmer's mistake originally because he wasn't tracking back, and I think that's why Rodgers at the moment kind of doesn't trust Palmer. Maybe that's something he said he was actually working on Palmer's defensive work, so maybe that's why he's not in and around the team at the moment.
Just not, as John was saying there, just not putting the graft in, kind of thing. No.
I don't think he works hard enough for Rodgers, but also opinionated Glaswegian has said the same. I don't think I think he's better suited to the 10 role rather than playing it in the wing. I think he's suited better there than the wing. But
yeah,
again,
because like, you can see him picking out a pass, like, can't you? You can see him that kind, like Mark was saying there, like a Roger. You can see him picking out a pass and stuff like that, or playing inside ball like Hatate does. That's where I kind of see him there. But you're not at the moment, even with the players that we brought in and stuff like that. He's not getting into that midfield, is he?
No. The only way he's taking Maeda's spot. Again, I'm not saying he's a bad player, but I need to see him getting a better run, maybe out in the wing. But if we came out in our next game and Palmer was out in the left wing, I'd be a bit. Oh.
See that team that started today, for me, that's your strongest team. I know we started. Aye. Our team that started today is your strongest, for me, is your strongest team, apart from maybe the left back. I don't know much about the trustee, but the boy Ankers is going to need with some player to shift Bernardo. Everybody thinks it's Bernardo that's going to get dropped for this boy. I've not seen much of him, but for me, Hitate's the one that goes more anonymous in these games than was more anonymous today than Bernardo or McGregor, who are both outstanding. I think that's your strongest team as it stands right now. I've not seen Enkels, but he had a wee cameo today, and obviously it's hard. He's not trained with the team, but he must be some player if he's going to shift any of that three.
I'm the same with that as well, Jerry. I think it was a bit poor. He put Bernardo at the squad desperate way he played today. Can I dent his confidence a wee bit as well. I think Engels needs to work to get himself into that squad. It'd just be a poor to put him in just because obviously we're priced at a price tag. Like I say, there's a lot of games this season, so everybody's going to get a chance.
I didn't think he impacted it. Bobby saying he looked classy. I didn't think he'd ever done. Well, it's
I
a
didn't
bit
notice him
harsh.
much
It's
either.
no. He's not trained with the team. He's just arrived on Friday, so it's obviously been fairly overcritical, considering the environment he's been brought into. But
Stephen Rogers
we can
naming the likes of McCowan and Engels in the squad. Do you know? I think that's a bit of a slap in the face to them as well. Guys that have been in only in the. Do you know what I mean? They're only in the country 48 hours.
But Mark, does that not show?
Had a kind of disdain for Rangers. Do you know what I mean? We've got a guy, maybe a wee warm-up session with the team yesterday, but use of that shape we're putting him on our bench today because he'll still, even if he never met the guys before, he's still better than what you have got out there.
Not just that, Mark, but I think
that.
not just that, Mark, but I think that's a big statement as well by Rodgers to the board that the players he signed in the previous transfer window haven't been good enough, and I have to put these new boys who signed for the club on Friday into this squad to bolster my bench.
He wouldn't think about
I've been seeing the thing about that, Henky. That's what I was talking to. Me and Mikey were talking about this earlier on. The thing about that is there's been no upheaval. I mean, the only upheaval in McCowan's life's been good. Do you know what I mean? That's his wife's loving it. Big fancy pie rise. She'll be getting a new house and great move. But there's no upheaval to his life. But guys like Engels and Justy, they Friday night they were hanging about Glasgow all day.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? Friday night, that was them just getting announced signing. There maybe a wee daft bounce game yesterday. So
against Rangers, that was their bounce game.
No, but if that game was a meaningful game, you would. I don't think they'd have been on that bench today. See if we were behind them. See if we were behind them in points, and we needed to beat. We really needed to beat them today. There's no way you can rely on two guys that have just flown into the country on Friday.
Well, who's dropped for the bench? You'd have put on the bench, Palmer.
Well, again, then that's just maybe showing you fucking how poor the squad maybe.
But that's what I'm just saying there, Mark. Is that just showing that the Rodgers kind of shown to the board as well, like the previous transfers that she did haven't been good enough, that I have to put these new signings who signed Friday onto the bench for this game to strengthen that bench, you know?
That's a point as well. Because, I mean, let's not be kidding. The transfer one day, it was a complete shambles. From beginning to 2 hours before it shut.
Yep.
So, I mean, fair dues, we were all delighted with the way it turned out. But even getting back to, like, the McCowan, if he was a target all summer, do you know what I mean? Why was he not brought in weeks ago?
I can't understand, Mark, why we were waiting for Matt O'Reilly to leave. The club knew if, like you said it the other day, Mark, if someone met his transfer value, the club were going to sell him. Now, I agree with you saying that they didn't know that someone was going to meet that because Atlanta were kept going, 22, 23, and Celtic, no, we want this. But there was other areas, Mark, that needed to be improved, and we had money in the bank. So why didn't we get those players in?
Exactly.
Anyway, to get in. But
Rusty could have been in, and so could McCown.
You know,
and maybe money.
But John,
maybe it was just ordered O'Reilly money. Obviously, the money coming in there, we're just going to. The players were already sitting there, all the fees were already agreed, all the contracts were agreed.
Yeah,
it was just basically getting that money in.
The risk to that,
surely you spend £1 million on McCowan.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe obviously. Yeah, maybe it was getting him out the door as well. It was kind of balancing the squad. We need to move him, then we'll be getting him in.
Maybe it, Mark. Rodgers wanted these players, like what John was saying there. That's actually a good point. That we had to get these players out as well. That Rodgers didn't want a big, huge bolster squad. Like he wanted
squad, innit? He just kind of wanted balance.
You know.
Well, that's what I've said that on the forum. Because but I said Rodgers has probably got a centre back lined up. But if we go and sign him the new and don't get rid of any, but if it Carter Vickers, Scales, Welsh, Narowski, Lager, Bielke, and the new guy, or fighting for 2 places, and that did he? You probably even struggle to train that kind of group amount of players. Do you know what I mean? If you've got a massive group of players, it's harder for managers. I've said that. The bigger the group of players, the harder it is to work with them. So that again, Jerry brought it up earlier, stockpiling players. So squad, nothing to do with even money or that, but actual squad places, just places available in the squad need to be freed up.
We tried to we tried to offer Nowotny to Poland, and there was no takers. There was actually no takers for Nowotny in Poland because of his injury record, and it hasn't improved since he left Poland. His injury record, and there was actually no takers back in his homeland on loan.
Talk about getting folk out. See, Friday night, Mark, we thought it was just a loan for a while, but he's gone completely.
Aye. And we talk about how happy Luke McCowan looked when he ran out the tunnel at Celtic Park. Did you see the pictures of Biawata?
No.
Oh, he looks absolutely. Oh, honest to God, man, he looks absolutely delighted. Big cheesy smiles in that.
I think that was a favour as well, Mark, to Curtis Davis, because it's actually Curtis. Did you know that it's actually Curtis Davis is the manager of Birmingham?
Aye.
You know, so that could be Rodgers as well, doing him a favour, getting look. I have a good player here. Yeah, we need to clear. He can do a job for you. You know, I was surprised at that sale, to be honest. I really was. You know, but no, when you look at this, we're bringing in McGowan, and why have 3 players for the one position? Do you know what I mean? Someone had to go, and you can actually see the reason behind it.
Good night, Mikey. Good night, bud. I'll speak to you tomorrow, mate. Right. Love to the family as well, Mikey, mate. Just catching up with gossip. Pierrot, gee, I've just come out with that. I thought you and him were related.
Who? Bobby?
No, just what Bobby and OG's talking about. I've known OG for as long as I've known Bobby, just on daft YouTube channels. Crazy shit years ago, know what I mean? I'll get too messy. People chop people up. I'm not even getting involved in any of that. Know what I mean?
Patch that. So, Paul, you happy with the transfer window?
Yeah, well, by the looks of it, it's like, you know, we identified areas. What we've been saying for the last couple of seasons is what we need improving. You know, I think bringing in a second striker who offers something different to Kyogo Nida is good. I would have liked another winger, but you know, just maybe trying to get that done, but you never know. Look, we as Mark said there, like there's players in the transfer market, there are free transfers, that maybe that's something that Rodgers will. But I don't think so. I think Rodgers is kind of happy now with his core players, and he said today that he got the players he wanted, which I think is a big statement by the club as well, that we did back. And you know what though? Thank God we had Rodgers for this transfer. You know, because if Matt Riley left, we wouldn't have got Eagles for 11 million. We would have brought in another project, I think. So thank God we actually had Rodgers to identify these players and get these players over to Celtic, you know, because it like what I heard about Baby Law was that he was told look in the market between 1 and 5 million, 1 and 6 million, and that's the caliber of players. And if you want to progress in Europe or improve the squad, you can't be buying these players all the time, you know. And I think we did good business this time in buying players over the 9 million mark and 10 million, 11. But then we brought in that 1 million player who we always said, what the club should be doing, bring in this project player, bring in these, you know, you don't have to bring in one big signing and then 6 or 7 project players. Do it the opposite way around.
Aye. I mean, is there any young wingers in the youth team or that? I don't really see much of the youth players in that anymore. Any youngsters Like the wingers,
I
maybe.
think,
Mark.
I think it's at the moment there, like the way Scotland is at the moment with the youth leagues and stuff like that. It could be
Still
another
too
2-3
big a
years,
gap.
Mark, by the time we see a player come into Celtic youth team and make an actually impact. Like, you know, I know we see the young lad Tully and stuff like that make an appearance like that, but I don't think we're going to see that for a long time in Celtic until this, I don't know, like get a proper league in Scotland. I think that's another bit away. You know,
What position is that boy Montgomery? Is he a fullback?
Left back. I think
Aye.
he's quite good. Just didn't really get a chance.
But moan about, sorry to interrupt here, John, but we moan about, like, oh, you need to get youth players a chance, and we spoke about it, how the way fans would react to them and all that, but and then when you leave, it's the Celtic, oh, see, we don't do this, we don't do that, but then Rodgers publicly said that Rocco Vata and that young boy Kelly were going to be part of his first team squad this season, and they still weren't interested. So, I mean, that's I know that's only two that we've come out. We've known that they've been offered the chance to become first team squad members and left. But
I think as well, Mark. Do you know
what else can you offer them? It's got to be. Is it money?
I think it's money. Mark. Yeah, that's it. Celtic would only offer you a young player, I say, Mark, between 2,000 and 3,000, maybe 5,000 max. And then you see Rocco Vata going down to is it West Brom he went to? Is this?
Watford, was it Watford?
Watford, is it Watford?
Kelly
and he's getting triple the money, Mark. So, like, you know, like, money talks, Mark, and I don't think Celtic will actually ever do that. Give an unproven player
crazy money
and take that risk. You know,
you want players that are willing to, young players that are willing to work for it. What we were talking about earlier on with guys like Cal McGregor and that, James Forrest, Ralston, guys that are in that dressing room and drill into these young guys. Look, it's not about money. You work for Celtic, you'll never be poor. Do you know what I mean? Cal McGregor said offers to move away. Do you know what I mean? Celtic said offers for Cal McGregor. And
so then Rodgers tried to take him that time to Leicester, didn't he?
Same with Forrest. There was offers.
Same with Forrest, yeah.
Especially when Forrest was younger. There was a lot of offers for Forrest and stuff like that. But they decided just to stay here because it's like, well, I'm happy here. My family's here. I'm playing for Celtic, winning trophies. I could go down to England and, I mean, a lot of the Scottish players, it's for money. They get down there and they get passed about like a Todd mag for a few years, but they come back up and they'll mint it and sign for Hibs. And fade into... Sorry, Jer.
They're saying they're injury prone and everybody wants them to come back.
Aye, but I mean, that's the thing. Do you know what I mean? It's like that probably that Daniel Kelly, I've seen 2 year time, he'll sign for Kilmarnock or something like that. But he'll come up the road with enough money to be a flashy guy in the Kilmarnock team. Do you know what I mean? He'll have one of the better motors and all that kind of nonsense. If you don't like, and see like that with Rocco Vata, you grew up with a Celtic player, even down to the fact you're even following your dad's footsteps a bit. All the choosing to play for Ireland and all that, and then just
see as well, Mark. You know, like what's happening now, Mark, as well in football. It's run by agents, and a lot of these young players are being advised. And for me, they're being look at Ben Doak. Liverpool got rid of him. How badly advised was he to go to Liverpool? Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
You know.
Good on them. I just think they're better on if they're going to bigger and better things. Let them go. That's why I would never have any of them back.
Exactly. That's right, Mark.
See, on that fair, I've been seeing a bit of that wee Karamoko Dembele. Seemingly he's
just about to say that.
Aye, it's a fair play to the lad. He seems to be getting a bit of a name and turning on a bit of style way. Is it Blackpool his way?
QPR.
Was it maybe against Blackpool? I saw him
play. Yeah, he was playing against Denmark. Yeah, QPR is with no. Yeah, and do you know what? He seems to be doing well. You know, fair dues Finnegan. You know.
And again, that's
a world beater, but that's what.
Come here.
That's no. But you can't blame that on him.
Who was shitting themselves today when they saw Neil Lennon?
No, you can't blame a kid for. He never came out and said that. Do you know what I mean?
No, agreed. But he'd plenty of skill. But you need to work hard. It doesn't get you anywhere with the hard work.
I think, Mark, he was unlucky on the Ange because I think he would have got a run a game at Ange, but he got that horrible tackle in pre-season. Remember that tackle in pre-season? I think Jon Dembele could have had a run of games on the Ange that season, you know?
So he did, Paul. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I think he could have had a run of games on the Ange, and I think he was just unlucky that time because but see, Mark, this is the problem with Celtic. Like, you know, like we're left to believe that these...
Hold on, David, man. Look at the time. If you've got work in the morning, I'd put the drink down. Oh, you're going to be rough and more, boy.
Who was the Marco? Who was the young left back that go to Hearts, then went down to Brentford?
Hickey.
Hickey.
Aye, Aaron Hickey.
He went first, didn't he?
Aye.
Remember him with it was Dembele v Hickey with the Hearts, with the Celtic Hearts game. Do you remember when Dembele was against him? Came up against him. It was a good wee battle, and you thought that they were the two of them both. Obviously, Hickey's went on to do it at a higher level, but you thought then that the two of them were going to have right good careers. But Dembele left us, and it looked as if was it Brest or somebody he went to in France.
Right, then he went to Blackpool, and then he's
Blackpool, now he's at QPR.
But that's what, you know what? That's a player who actually went down the lower leagues to build up his career again. You know what I mean? It didn't work out for Celtic. It didn't work out in France, and he's worked his way back up again. Like, you have to hand it to him. Like, you know, in fairness to him. You know.
Look at Andy Robertson.
But how bad will
Dundee United?
Yeah, exactly.
They're going to win the European Cup with Liverpool. And see if and I keep saying this. See young players that leave Celtic when they're young and going to have great careers in that. See if they stayed at Celtic, the chances are they wouldn't have known and had their great caries.
No, they won't be the same player, Mark. Yeah.
Aye, no, it's all down to getting out there and playing games and progressing.
How bad will Billy Gilmore's family feel when they go off to Napoli and find out the whole place is Catholic when they go over there?
I didn't realise that Conte was the manager at Napoli.
Yeah, Conte.
They've left that Victor Osimhen, the striker, out the squad altogether. He's not been registered for the season.
He's been trying to get
pushing. Chelsea, there was some shady dealings going on behind the scenes for that, for what I heard.
Aye. But
I didn't know they just dropped him right out of the squad.
He's not been registered. They can't play this season, so he's basically just threw it aside.
Go from a loan in January for still in the Well, obviously we're still in the Champions League, but for a chance of getting qualified, winning it.
I think the Saudi Arabia transfer deadline closes tomorrow, so I say with some probably because there was a deal actually done between him and Tavernier. But then they took Ivan Toney from Brentford instead.
It might be Butland away.
You know, fuck's
I wouldn't be surprised, Mark. You called it weeks and weeks ago, and then you get that the last couple of hours of the window they were talking him maybe going.
He's one City there
for 400 million.
Have Tav and Butland 100 million for the two of them.
I think they valued him at 20 million a few weeks ago, so they did. The Rangers, like up that super scoreboard on Hingme on YouTube, I think we flash bit at the bottom. Rangers valued
Mickey Johnson was more than half what their squad was sold in this transfer, for Christ's sake. You know,
well, here one.
What he gets, two different things.
Here one for you. Oh, what was it? It came up. I think I noted it down. I'm not doing a Greg here. Calm down. I'm not that bad yet.
He got the answers man himself, and he was doing it. I was actually listening to that. I was down in West Cork, right? And I said I planned a podcast on the Monday. I said I listened to coming up from West Cork. Next I saw lads, I have a wee quiz for you. Then he was calling out his answers, and someone got it right in the live chat, and he got it wrong. Oh, sure, yeah, he's right. And then Campsey, Jerry, you asked him a question: who played in that team? And he couldn't name the team. Then who played against Manchester United?
The Tabley one was
wild.
That was crazy. That was right. See that Diamante they had playing for them today.
Aye.
Right, see the money they paid for him. We get Bernardo and McCowan for the same money.
Aye, somebody put
Well,
that
see,
in the
Mark,
chat.
that's what actually. I don't like the man. I don't like Chris Boyd, but I know he was waffling on today. But he was actually saying a lot of sense about Rangers today. Like they're paying this atrocious money in wages and transfer fees, average players, and then they can't get rid of them. They can't sell them because they want so much money, and then. Like we go on about we're complaining about our transfer window, but when you look across the road, we're actually in a decent state of transfers,
I mean, even that boy they signed for just under £3.5 million right at the kind of deadline, right? For somewhere they've funded £3.5 million and just thought to themselves, we need to get a player in here with us just to get somebody in.
Like
And
who bought shares? That's it. Who bought
phone,
books? Who bought a book of shares from the
aye, but they've phoned whatever agents they work with, and they've just done all right. We can get him. He'll do. They needed to do something, but because you can't tell me, right? Because to a certain extent, I'd say Clement knows what he's doing. Do you know what I mean? If Rangers had £3.5 million to spend, he could have wheeled and dealed a bit and found 2 or 3 players that are better value for that guy that went and bought that Albanian guy. And you know Mikey Foley's Italian fit, but Mikey says that team they've been trying to get rid of him for ages, and he's a pure donkey.
It's a solo.
But see, Mark,
it's just a waste. It's just another heavy waste of money to try and show that. Well, look, we've got some money.
That's the difference, Mark. I think in having Rodgers in this window. Maybe we were in for a few goalkeepers, right, before Kasper Schmeichel, Mark, right? We could have been in talks, but no, but then Kasper Schmeichel said, right, I'm not waiting anymore for a keeper. I need a keeper in now for pre-season, and this is the thing, I'll sort it out. He rang Kasper Schmeichel. That's the difference in manager, Mark, using your contacts in things. And maybe Celtic wanted to sign this lad for Aston Villa, and then Rodgers maybe thought, well, we're going to sign him, but he's not going to be my number one. He's not good enough to be my number one yet. Give him a year or two, we'll bring in Kasper Schmeichel. That's a sign of a manager who actually, and I think what we're seeing in Rodgers this year, Mark, compared to his first stint, he's more experienced and he seems to be more, I don't know, controlled, and the preparation seems to be better in the team. Like I know I'm going back to the game today, Mark, but I know we played brilliant football on the Ange today and stuff like that. But the way we control that game today, when we need to slow down the game, we slow down the game. When we need to up the pace, we up the pace. If we want to play the long ball, we played it. Like there was a mixture of everything today in that game. When we wanted to use Maeda's pace, you would Schmeichel fucking putting out these long balls. I think we're seeing
I think maybe
mature Rodgers, but a better manager in Rodgers than we saw when his first time he was here.
He's definitely a better manager than he was here the first time, 100% in my opinion. But I think the signing of Schmeichel and the young keeper for Aston Villa maybe sucked us into a false sense of security at the beginning of the window, because we were all like, that's
what we were saying. That's what you were saying for years, Mark. Sign a young keeper, bring in an experienced keeper, and then let this young keeper train off him. And
we thought, because that was the first thing, we thought that's planning. Do you know what I mean? Getting a cracking, probably still pushing world class Kasper Schmeichel, in my opinion. Do you know what I mean? Man. When you see even when you see some of the goalkeepers doing in the pub league, I mean, you can't say that Kasper Schmeichel still isn't a top level keeper.
He's still doing job
maybe no world class, but he's top class.
The only reason he was sold by Leicester City, Mark, is because they went into financial trouble, sure.
Aye. So we thought that was, that's a bit of forward planning. We thought everything was just going to run across smoothly in that bit.
Who was shitting themselves today when they saw Lee Lennon in the fucking stands?
As long as David Moyes was in next to him.
Do you know what?
Any words yet? Is Brendan Rodgers chucked it?
No, it's tomorrow he's chucking it. It's tomorrow.
I thought it was straight after the game. The WhatsApp groups were saying.
In the showers. Maybe. Aye, so much
But you know what, Mark? That just shows the the classness of Celtic fans. And I know we gave Lenny abuse for the 10 in the row shambles, but that wasn't all his fault. And for him to come back, do you know what I mean? That he can come back to Celtic now, Mark, and be the legend that Neil Lennon actually is for the club as player and as manager. You know.
See when you right.
Oh, sorry, on you go.
Right, I'll ask me John this because he's not said much here. Right, John. Talking back to the 10 in a row, right? It was sore that we lost it. I'm not getting away from that, right? But see if we'd won that, we'd have at least had another year of Lennon and Peter Lowell buying our players. Look at where we are now. Was losing the 10 worth it? Looking back on it,
I think it was the best thing to happen to us.
I was asking John. I said, John.
Mark, you should know me now, man. It might come back.
I see. I know you're coming for. In a way, at the time it was sore. It was obviously dreadful to watch, but it was a bit of a shake-up, a bit of a wake-up call as well. It kind of obviously got house in order and kind of in terms of trying to deal with things different and kind of recruitment and stuff like that. But I was sore at the time. But looking back on it altogether, just that whole period, the 9 in a row, obviously the 4 trebles and everything, that was history itself. You've got to be glad you actually loved that and experienced that and seen that, even though we never won the 10. But I see where you're coming for there. But
sometimes you get a step back to take 2 forward.
I think that's what we've done.
I think what's good about it as well is that we got Dyson and we can quote still game about Tavernier said, "You are shitting yourself." You know?
Fairness. Do you think Toby's ever going to make it? It's Celtic.
Do you know what? After I saw him at Cork City, when he played with Cork City, I was looking going, Jesus Christ, man, this is not the fucking player I thought. I don't know. I don't think so, no. When I go back and that, you know, unless he does good for Dunfermline, he's supposed to have a good game yesterday for Dunfermline, but I don't know, you know. I don't. I think we're going the right way.
Drip me to that voice.
I think we're going the right way. What we're doing for him is putting him out and loan him, actually seeing what he can do. You know.
Yep.
But I don't know. You know what I saw him at Cork City. I fucking never forget it. Like, you know, the ball was just kicked from outside.
It's a pure howler in his debut for them, wasn't it, Paul?
But he was a howler, Mark. There's a howler. He went down to catch the ball. Like when you're a keeper, when the ball's coming straight at you, you get your body behind the ball. And he bent down, the ball just rolled the fucking opposite side of him. And I was
you messaging you for the game.
you dirty bastard. I said, I've been on a podcast here for fucking bulking your name up here, you man. Do you know what I mean? He wasn't a bit impressed then, though, when a naked man started chasing around the pitch full time, you know. And not talk about that.
Like, Henke said he's got a question. I'm dying to see this. It must be in reply to Gregor's one. He said it earlier on at the start. He had a question for us, but now he's putting it to Greg. Hurry up, tell me.
Where is it? Above, it says above.
Oh, is it a question?
Like, don't be asking me to pronounce any fucking players now, for fuck's sake.
Question above for you. Can you stay?
He's got a question above. He'll need to repost it, maybe.
Oh, there it's there. Who was the first?
Who sold it? I have it there.
Who was the first Celtic player to score with a sponsor in our shirt?
Ooh.
Like, no Googling it. It just spoils it when people do with daft questions and that.
Like, what year was that? What year did we get sponsors on our shirt?
Oh, well, that's the fucking point of the question. You need to try and think about it.
It was the early 80s.
Tebbley. Yeah, who's this fella? Tebbley.
Tebbley.
I was like thinking of Tebbley.
He's put Aitken.
C.R. Smith.
It was C.R. Smith. That was early 80s, wasn't it?
It's not. It's
no
not Judas. No Judas, is it?
No. It was either Callum something. No, it wasn't Callum. No, I'd be lying. But it was definitely the early 80s.
Right, we've got the right area, the right era. It's going to be something pure. Mike Galloway.
Tony Shepherd.
Anton Rogan.
No, C.R. Smith. We went with Brian. We went with C.R. Smith, the Peoples, and then back to
C.R. Smith.
Back to C.R. Smith. I thought that's Willie. That's who I said first. Judas. Tony Shepherd. Greg saying Tony Shepherd.
That would have been about 6, 5. That's Jesus Christ, lad. I can barely mind fucking next week. The mind saying going back then. I'm out of that question. Anyway.
You can barely mind next week.
Last week.
You said next week.
Last week I said.
Is everybody earlier than Galloway?
No idea then. You have
Derek. No, it's not Derek White. That's even before that, isn't it?
no, it's 80s. McStay, I know Greg said to him.
Well, it was a penalty. Right, giving us clues. This is a decent quiz, you know what I mean? Just wee clues to drip it and see if we can get it.
Jesus Christ, man.
Tommy Coyne or Craney, that's a good shout, Estepona boy. That's a shout, bud.
I said Craney at the start.
No, you didn't.
I did, yeah.
In.
Or did I say it in my head? Probably said
Charlie
it in my head.
Nick. McGarvey.
Tommy Barnes.
McGarvey.
Tommy Barnes.
McGarvey.
85.
McLeod. No.
See, he's pickled, man.
Jesus Christ, Craig, if I just give the answer, by will you?
Aye. Right. G-Dog's going to Peter Grant.
Alan McNally. Whoever. No, I can't think of anybody else.
Peter Grant. He says G-Dog's go to. I was going to say Peter Grant. I was just like, I can never mind him scoring against Rangers.
Well done.
See, Greg, that's how you do it. You need to know the answer yourself before you ask questions. That's kind of the point of a quiz.
That's the point. You need to know the answer yourself. That helps. Always helps.
Did you find out actually who that forward was, Tembley? Did you find that out?
Bobby Fun, a guy that his middle name was Tebley, that played in a daft friendly pre-season tournament as a sub or something. And then, can you tell them, Jerry? You tell them.
Right. It wasn't even Tebley. He had made a mistake. It was Amido Baldi he was thinking of. So you get the two Baldis, so Big Bobo and Amido, so it was nothing to do with Tebley.
10 minutes,
So it was Amido Baldi he was thinking of.
Many people in the chat were saying, "Are you sure it's no Baldi?" And he said, "No, it's no Amido Baldi."
I remember that because he was saying that, yeah.
Oh, he said umpteen, he said a few. He had an old hunt.
So just a bit of crack, just a laugh.
Aye.
Like a quiz show that you're seeing Phoenix Nights or something like that. That's what it was. You know?
Oh, my jaws are still be laughing at that.
As long as
Jesus
it's just
Christ,
laughing.
man. People thought I was a nutcase at the traffic. People must have thought I was a nutcase at the traffic lights of a car, busting my fucking balls laughing. You know?
What?
What about... It's shite that we've nothing for now. Is it 2 weeks nearly?
I know. I hate an
How good is it, though, that... Do you know what?
You're stewing. And we're going to come back flying. Back of training with the new signings in the squad and that. Do you know what I mean? We're coming back even stronger after this international break.
But you know what's good as well, Mark? Do you know what's good as well? Callum Mack not going in international duty.
Aye.
You know, that he's actually going to get a rest. And
Engels get a game for Belgium.
He get called up.
He got called up to that squad, yeah.
But see the thing about that, and I cracked this joke about, well, obviously it was not very funny now after his injury and that, but see, as soon as Matt O'Reilly went down to England, he get called up to the Norway squad.
Aye. Denmark.
Aye, the Denmark squad. But
Yep.
that made them likely triggers one of the add-ons.
I would
Yeah,
say
that's
so, Mark.
Thing
Yeah.
with Dave, that's what add-on. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's what they are. 'Cause, like
Aye.
maybe no much to know just for getting called up to the squad, but it might be a 200 grand when he gets added up to the squad and 500 grand when he makes his first appearance in internationals. So probably
That was a dirty tackle, though. He didn't even get booked for that tackle.
That was
Supposed to be a bad
disgusting.
injury, though.
Aye.
Operation. But aye.
Yeah.
He'll,
But you know what, though? Do you remember before when Celtic sold players to teams down England, we were always told that they weren't fit enough, they were overweight, they need a bit of time to blend in. How good is it showing now that our players now are leaving Celtic, Mark, and they're actually starting games already straight away for the Premier League teams? You know,
there used to
how
be that
leagues
kind of
above we've actually progressed, like.
that's true, Paul. There was a kind of time when a lot of the big signings but down to England and they weren't just quite up to like the pub league levels of fitness and stuff like that was required. But again, when Ronnie came in, he started the revolution on that. Do you know what I mean? And Brendan Rodgers will be aware of that side of stuff.
He took it the next step, Denmark, didn't he? That time, didn't he? Yeah.
Rodgers for
then
the
we
first
went
game said weren't fit enough. His very first time when Rodgers came, it said we weren't fit enough.
Big Greenock.
You'll have Kasper Schmeichel going in international duty as well because he still played international football with Denmark.
Well, at least it'll give Vickers a rest because I think Vickers came off at the end of the.
But
He's walking about with a big moon boot. He's walking about. There's a picture on the Discord, Jerry, and walking about with a moon boot on coming out the ground.
It's no yours, Mark, is it?
That's what I said. Somebody said maybe he just bounces about with that on all the time. I was like me.
I think that was an old picture, Mark, because Rodgers said nothing about it after his pre-season. Like, you know, press match. I think
just be somebody looking for someone to worry and moan about. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
Evening, Green Smoke, mate. Nice to see you, bud. Been a great day today.
So who do we have on international? We'll have Schmeichel, we'll have Scales with all it. Is there are America playing internationals this year, or is it just European football?
I don't know, Paul. Do you know, I don't follow it at all.
We'll have Taylor. Forrest is called up to the Scotland team, weren't he? James Forrest was called up, weren't he? To the Scotland team. Ralston was called up.
For Ralston, was he? Aye. I've not even looked, Paul, to see if any what the squads are that are.
You know?
They're David a question you can answer, Marco.
Who?
Can you get Green Brigade area tickets in general sale?
No.
Section, mate.
Aye. It's like special season tickets and that you get sent out and stuff like that. You don't.
You can't walk up the stairs if your season book going up to that section.
There's about two or three checks as well. In fact, the turnstile won't even open if you don't get the actual kind of right on season ticket.
Aye. I won't be watching Scotland after that, man.
Nah, sack that. I gave them a chance and it was. I gave international football a chance and I wasn't still. I should have just spent the time in the PlayStation. It'd have been more productive.
And then you see Napoli signing two of the boys that are playing in midfield for us, with McTominay and Gilmore.
I was talking to one of the English heads the other day about that, the young Motherwell guy. Aye. And he was like, he's one of the best players I've seen in Scotland for years. He says at any age, he says, but even for his age, he's how Celtic or even Rangers are not tried to sign him. Just I was saying about, is he going to get in with team? He's not going to get game time at Celtic. And plus, I don't think his dad wants him at that age to get involved in that kind of side of things, you know. But I'm surprised that none of the Italian teams have come in with a serious kind of career-defining move for him. Imagine him getting out of Italy. I mean, we all know that Italian scouts are out of the Scottish League. Do you know what I mean? We've seen that the last few years. And for them to see a young blood guy, he's still even only 18, isn't he? At that level. So, I mean, they could offer go there and he could be. I mean, literally, he could become like a top level player.
Aye.
He's that good to know at his age, but to get that kind of chance, and if one of the big Italian teams come in and say, "Come out here, and this is how you'll be. This is, you follow your orders, and this is where you'll be in 3, 4, 5 years time."
Aye, definitely.
And I've said it 100 times, and everybody says it, but I don't. It's never going to happen. I don't think unless there's been some kind of just even private agreement. Celtic could just buy him the new for £5 million and just loan him back to Motherwell for even the next 2 years. Even the next 2 year. Do you know what I mean? And then if we want him, we bring him in and we give them more money for him. Do you know what I mean? To make it a decent, make sure that Motherwell's getting a right good lad, because we'd be getting if you think about it, if he progresses the way he is now at Motherwell, even if we gave him £8 million over the next 2 years to actually sign him and bring him into Celtic Park, that's worth that for what he's going to be. He comes into Celtic for a year and he's away for 25 million if you want, I think, if he comes in at Celtic at 2021.
Aye.
Do you think he's that good, Mark? Aye.
Aye, honestly, I do. I think he's a cracking player, John. I do.
I've not really seen much of him. I do see a lot of hype for a young boy in that, but probably Motherwell's probably the best place for him. He's the main man there and he's playing on every weekend.
Yeah, but Mark,
I mean, that's the thing. He's not
Mark,
going to
you're
play
making a good point there, Mark. Do you know what I mean? Like, they mightn't be ready for Celtic now, so buy the player now and actually loan him back to the team for a season to then bring him in maybe in his 20s then and then start developing and then, like, you know.
Aye.
You know.
I mean, there's no point in him coming to Celtic and, I mean, put him in the B team.
But yeah, exactly.
I mean,
You know,
that's basically it.
look, he's going to take 2 years back. Do you know what I mean? In his progression, Mark, if he does that.
Maybe there's inquiries made about him, obviously, and just saying his family and stuff, and the boys thought about it and he's kind of just happy where he is now, being the main man playing football. Obviously, that's how it's not going any further.
Here's the question for Vita. Do you think Rodgers will stay beyond the 3 years?
I think if he wins the league the next 2 seasons, I think he'll leave after the third season. I think he'll just go.
You know, because like I was thinking that myself there the other day, like, and like, surely the board now could go to Rodgers. You know, we backed you this transfer window. We'll back you in the next transfer windows. We'll give you that commitment. You give us this commitment that you stay on beyond the 3 years. You know.
Well, I think
Because if Rodgers goes, Mark, we're going to be in the same situation where we were under Ange, under Ronnie Della, unless, as you know, I was saying, Mark, we kind of bring in the sporting director. So unless we get commitment from Rodgers that he's staying, or if he doesn't, bring in a director of football, you know.
Well, I'm hoping just with what Rodgers has been talking about, because he's mentioned that a few times, that obviously it's something that's been looked at and will be getting dealt with accordingly, well, hopefully accordingly, as the full kind of recruitment process and set up behind the scenes. And I think, see if what come January, and if that runs smoothly and goes to plan with Rodgers, I think in the coming new year, then the board can turn around and say to him, look, we want you to sign a new deal, an extended contract. And to the same extent, I think that Rodgers will look at it and say, I've pushed and pushed and pushed, and they're backing me. I've got the players, they've bought me all the players I've asked for. They've backed me with bringing in better recruitment. They've backed me with all sorts of stuff. So I owe them that. And even if a better job does come along, because you've got to go look at it. I know, Rodgers, we can't hold players back when they want to take a step up. If Rodgers did in 2 or 3 years' time get offered like a top job in like Spain, which is his dream, you couldn't fault him if he's come in here. And basically, if everything goes to plan, with reading between the lines and what he says, he basically kind of revolutionising the football department. So you've got to give him a cut the slack a bit with him. But I definitely think that the way the window ended, he'll be happy with that, but he'll still be worried about how it's going to go forward.
Exactly, Mark, because this is typical Celtic, Mark.
Aye, shooting herself in the foot when they're in front of the race.
But they'll back a manager for one season. Do you know what I mean? Like this is the third one now that Rodgers really has got back. And if Rodgers wants to get back as well in January, are the board going to back him? Because the board could say, well, we spent this so much. Do you know what I mean? That's my problem. Everything now seems to be fine at the moment. Rodgers got his players, he got backed. But what if he wants to ring him in January? What if he wants this player in January that, you know, are they going to back him again, or are they going to go back to their same way? No, we'll sign these two young fellas. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's why we need
we'll see come January.
someone in there, Mark.
For me, come January, unless it's a young player you're bringing in to bed in to be ready for next season, for me, really, it'll depend on where we're sitting in the Champions League table.
Exactly.
Because see if we've not got a chance of qualifying for like even the playoff round or that. I'm not sticking up for the board, but I'm just meaning in general. What's the point of going out and spending £20 million on a couple of players just to get us through the rest of the Scottish season?
Because we need to be like any players now we're going to be signing in January, Mark, really need to be ready for the qualifiers for the Champions League next season. You know.
No, but if I'm not a shout for getting through, like even into the playoff round, I don't think there'll be much done in January. I think a lot of it will come down to, as I said, unless it is a young player that we would bring in, but he wouldn't even be in the Champions League squad when we announced. Do you know what I mean? That kind of player.
Do you think Hatate could leave in January?
No,
I think he's meant to go.
John, I agree with that. I said earlier on, maybe before you came on, and said that before. See like if we've done with O'Reilly, I mean, no people are moaning, we only spent the O'Reilly money and stuff like that. But see if Celtic are next season are selling Hatate for 25-30 million, and we're just spending 30 million on the squad with the same kind of what we've done this summer, I'll be happy with that. I've got no complaints whatsoever with Celtic doing that.
I'm the same. I'm all right now. See players leaving and stuff like that now. It doesn't really affect me anymore. I'm used to it. So a good few years back, it used to annoy us and stuff like that, but I don't really bother now. When the bids come in and get big money for them, it just doesn't bother us as long as the money is put back into the squad.
That's business model.
First time I felt it, I think, was last season when Jota left. I didn't feel nothing. I didn't feel disappointed or anything like that. I just felt it's the same all the time. Just we'll spend the money and a new player will do the same, and O'Reilly's done it this season, hasn't he? Obviously, he came up as a big player for us and now he's left.
That's you getting older, me man. That's you getting older and white. No, it is. I mean, I used to be like that. And then eventually you're like, I mean, it was leaving like with Rodgers left. You're like, I can't believe you pure bought into your bullshitting. I mean, dragging it up. We've been through it. What about you, John? Have you forgave him for it all now?
I
spoke about it with IFP and that. You forgave Rodgers for walking out for.
I have to. Obviously, it took me a couple of years. Obviously, I still I hated him not. I was also wanting Leicester to do bad and stuff all the time. But
Ange getting pumped today again.
So when he came back and the way he spoke and stuff, he kind of says he was obviously hated the pair. Obviously, his relationship with the Celtic fans and stuff, and he's done that. I'm glad he's back now. Obviously, I'll accept him and stuff like that. He's a top manager. And it's just football, isn't it? People come and go all the time.
But that's it. You know that one day Brendan Rodgers is going to walk out of Celtic Park.
I know. I've
you know one day
gone. Just as long as it's the right way.
What age are you, John? You're quite young. Well, I thought you were younger than that. But I mean, I think like young guys like that have just like Cal McGregor's been in that team all the time for they were a wee boy, and then he's coming to the end of his career. Maybe in 4 years, 3 years time, Cal McGregor's going to walk out of Celtic for the very last time. But see, when you're younger than that, things like that do get to you. Do you know what I mean? But as you get older, I mean, I know I joke that about Matt O'Reilly and stuff like that, but again, fair play to guys away, he got us a wad of money. I hope he gets his legs all right and he gets back, because I think, I've said it to everybody, I think Matt O'Reilly will go to the very, very top of the game. He could end up playing for one of the mega clubs, I think, one day.
He's got on it. It's just a shame that happened to me.
Aye, because see, probably that. See, he probably went down to Brighton for a year and some team would have bid mega money for him next summer even, do you know what I mean?
Just kind of where Van Dijk was, wasn't it?
Aye.
And then got to Liverpool.
Even Paul, go and read that out. I'll put it up on the screen. No, wait a minute. Go and say even.
My God, man.
Go and say evening to that Evengu. It's hard to say evening Evengu. So no.
Oh no,
I've known him. I've known the boy for years. Do you know what I mean? I've spoke to him when the phone started. He used to go on the forum years ago.
Fucking hell.
Aye.
Just reminds me of fucking that singer Anya there. I'm expecting to see lyrics of fucking Sail Away coming up in the live chat there or something.
65 million for Solanke. That's Solanke.
He'd be gone by Christmas, Ange, like Tottenham. He'd be gone. Definitely.
So I
see what
I
Scotland
was watching
now,
them today, Mark. They're shocking, Mark. They're shocking. They're not even playing the way we saw Ange with Celtic. They're shocking. You know,
that's a poison chalice, that Tottenham, Joe. That's when see when he was gone, we spoke about it at the time. I mean,
Spurs think they're a big club, Mark. They think they're a big club. But they haven't won a cup since Paul Gascoigne was there, I think. Was that the last cup they won, I think? 91. In that cup final, he got injured. Was that the last cup they won, I think, back then? In the 90s.
They won that?
I don't think they won that day, did they?
I don't think they won that, did they? Yeah, I don't think they won that. Do you know what I mean?
You go back to the 60s, and I'm sure just even reading their forum in that, Paul, doing it, it's like the Arsenal fans laughing at them. It's like 40 odd years.
That's the mentality, Mark. Do you know what I mean? That's the mentality of the Premier League. These average teams think they're big clubs because they've money. Do you know what I mean?
Henke's right again. It was Ozzy Ardiles, I think it was the last guy to the end with him.
But it's that Levy, isn't it? I mean, people moan about Peter Lowe and that.
He's worse, man. Yeah.
Oh, see, honestly, I'd have loved Peter Lowe still to be our CEO when Daniel Levy was trying to get Ange into Spurs. Imagine being in the room with they two trying to get agreed money, fees and stuff like that.
But I was just looking at the chart there, right? And everyone was saying they were gutted when Ange left. And people weren't happy when Brendan Rodgers go. Ange was speaking to Spurs, Joan Celtic, when Celtic was still in the league, and he was tapping up players to join him at Spurs, even still when he was Celtic manager. Mark, I mean, what's the difference, like?
I believe he said we won in that cup final. I think Ange would have went. I think he just tried to do that treble just for himself, kind of get it on his CV and stuff like that.
But Jenk would have left if he won the cup. He'd have left like done what Rodgers done.
I believe he would have. But it was all his ego. It was about getting that treble under his belt just to have it in his CV so he could say he'd done a treble and stuff. Because he kept making comments and interviews and stuff about Martin O'Neill, bringing it up to him when he just signed and all that. Like, obviously, he'd done a double and Martin O'Neill's like, well, I've done the treble or something. And he kept saying things like that. Martin kept reminding him about it. And I believe actually just stayed just to get the treble or just for himself. Kind of a bit of an ego. I think, but.
Well, he definitely had an ego. I mean, don't get us wrong, that doesn't bother me in the slightest. But do you know what I mean? Sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing. But do you think, probably the chat and views and that, do you think? I mean, it's inevitable that he's going to get the sack at Spurs because it's just like nightfall is day. That's just what that pub league's all about. Do you know what I mean?
That's what it is, Mark. I'm watching him, Mark.
But do you think he'll get another top job?
Ange?
Do you?
It just depends what it does at Spurs, isn't it?
Well, I mean,
he's going to get the bullet.
Is Spurs a top job? Spurs could be, but I mean, do you think? I mean, I was talking. See, when he first started, because he came in and that probably mucked it up a bit for him as well. When he first came in, he had them flying. Mind, they were top of the league for a couple of weeks or a couple of months at least. Do you know what I mean? So that built up the expectation. In fact, when he was top of the league at Christmas, that first season he was there.
No, not a one. No chance.
They were doing well. I think in the first 11 games.
They were. They
were top for a while anyway. That probably get their hopes up. But can you see him leaving Spurs and he'll maybe tumble down and it'll be like, I don't know, Southampton.
No, Mark, I think, you know what, Mark?
That'll be back to Japan.
No, I think, Mark, that there's...
Whose team played the better football?
Ange and Spurs don't fit. That's
but we said that before even went.
Yeah, they just don't fit. And I think there's clubs down there that he could actually do. I think Ange would do good down in that league with a
Brighton.
team like Brighton,
Or
you know.
is he waiting in the tin tack for Spurs? Brendan Rodgers is rejigging the recruitment team, and Big Angie's coming in as the director of football.
Andrew's nearly 60 now, isn't he?
No, I don't think. I'm talking bollocks, man.
Who
I'm
plays
just
the
saying.
better football? Who do you think's team's playing a better football? Angie's or Rodgers?
But when he was at Celtic or just now
Aye.
for Spurs?
No,
When he's
fuck Spurs. I'm not interested. I couldn't care less what happened to them.
Rodgers has got us playing well. The movement that's good with Rodgers, always an interline.
I
and
think
stuff.
I think Rodgers because I think we're more compact. You know, that the defense seems more settled as well. Like you could, Angie's team could easily, they could easily. It was kind of you score 2, we score 3 kind of thing, wasn't it? You know, that's where it was like gong ho on the Ange there sometimes, wasn't it? You know.
What be yourself, Mark?
Well, in his second season, how many times did we moan about all the pointless, just passing it back and forward, and up to like midfield, then back to the defence and out to the centre back? And I mean, there was a bit of that in Rodgers last season, but again, it was just getting used to what Rodgers wants the players today. But this season, I'd say this is, and for what we're seeing at the start of the season, I think this season we'll see better football than we did for under Ange.
I think so. I agree with that.
Because I mean, see, when you think about it, it's like, I mean, it maybe sounds a bit sour grapes in that, but Ange is a one-trick pony, in my opinion.
Exactly, Mark. And we're seeing different things from, like you saw, we're seeing things this year on the blend. Like Brendan Rodgers was one trick as well, Mark, in his first season. He only played one way, and that was it, possession football. But then you're seeing this year, especially this season, we're playing the long balls over the top to either, which, you know, when we need to up the pace, we up the pace. You know, if you need to count down.
Nobody's learned, and this is probably what's made him a better manager when he was here the first time.
That's what I'm saying, Mark. Yeah, exactly.
When he was at Liverpool were a big, do you know what I mean? A big team, money to spend, good players. So he could stick with his guns, buy players.
Only for Steven Gerrard fucked it up for him, the stupid cunt.
Aye. But then he's went to Leicester, and then he's had to learn how to tweak his tactics to counteract what the opposition are doing. Whereas he didn't need to do that at Liverpool. He didn't need to do that the first time at us because most of the teams he could steamroller them. And when he went to Leicester,
what you're saying there, Mark, even what
they didn't have that the players to do that. So to learn game by game to how to change things up.
What you said early on, Mark, in about Maeda, and on the Ange, we were always saying, what does Maeda do rather than just run around like a headless chicken blocking the ball? What does he do? And now we're seeing the Maeda, Mark, when we first signed the Mark for Japan, when the long ball goes in and Maeda sees using his pace. Do you mean we're actually seeing the best out of Maeda under Brendan Rodgers? And I think Maeda's now is actually what you said, he's enjoying his football because I think he's with a manager who knows Maeda's strengths, and we're playing to Maeda's strengths, you know.
That's a good point, Paul. Mind that the videos and that we watched when he was first coming in, how many times he did go on the end of the long balls in the Japan games and that, aye.
That's what we're seeing, Mark, now of Maeda. And then there was good and bad Maeda when he tried to cross that ball to David.
I know, man.
Do you know what I mean? You know, but you know what, though? You can't take him out of the team because it's what he brings between his pressing down and his speed and stuff like that. Do you mean it's the man's speed is, and supposedly Kuhn is actually supposed to be faster than him. Did you hear that?
According to Brendan Rodgers, James Forrest is the fastest winger at the club.
Well, I thought so. That's what we had.
I don't know. I'll feel that under the Danny McGrain story in the Clyde Tunnel one, I think.
Aye, 100%. Mark, see when Rodgers' first season here, we'd said that before, he wouldn't deviate from the way he set up ever. He was quite, I don't say ignorant, but he had his own principles, and he said he would either he would win or get beat by playing his kind of way, and that's why he tried to go toe to toe against Chelsea, Barcelona, and got us a few drubbings. But in Europe now, you've seen it in different things. You've seen it in the Champions League. He'll tweak his tactics to try and suit, rather than just think, right, well, this is the way we play always.
But Rodgers was guilty. But Rodgers was guilty of that in his first time here as well. Mind we went toe
I
to
know
toe.
that's what I'm saying.
Aye,
That's what I'm saying.
and then last year, as we've said, Jerry,
hasn't Rodgers tweaked his
wasn't
tactics
it?
this year?
Yep.
Like Rodgers tweaked his tactics this year to kind of get the best out of Taylor by kind of going on the like. If you look at the game, it's only one inverted fullback we're actually playing. Johnson doesn't kind of go into the centre at all. It only seems to be Taylor that seems to be going into that role. So he's kind of changed his role in the team. And it's John. You were saying there that it'll be harsh on Taylor to drop, but I actually think Rodgers will drop him to have those two overlapping fullbacks on both sides that Rodgers likes.
I think Rodgers already says, when he spoke to Greg Taylor, obviously in pre-season, he was kind of letting him know, obviously he's not going to be kind of playing week in, week out. He's letting him know he's bringing somebody in, so it's kind of got to get swapped.
Because, Mark, like what I hear, that this fella is supposed to be, we're supposed to have got a gem in this Spanish lad.
Aye, definitely, aye. But I mean, and this has got to sound crazy. So we John's moved to his cell. Right, but see with that, mind when we first started the pod, the boy used to come in and to talk about play Greg Taylor at CDM. He used to play when he was younger. See, watching a game the other week, it came into my head, is Rodgers maybe got something up his sleeve for Europe?
Because
it's going to go with a two, Callum McGregor and Greg Taylor sitting in there.
That's what I was actually saying a while ago, Mark, when in the role that Callum McGregor seems to be playing, that he has the license to go forward on the blend, and it's actually Taylor is the CDM. When Taylor moves in, he's the CDM role. Do you know what I mean? That's.
But I'm talking about even getting the Spanish boy on at left back, and just actually it's going to be just Mark, Taylor. Taylor. Maybe against like the teams, see like Dortmund and stuff like that. Maybe there's going to be a kind of tweak in the back to his 4-2-3-1 or something like that.
It could be.
Right, guys, I'm going to need to shoot, man. This dog's doing my boxing. It's been emotional, and I hope everybody's enjoyed their day and enjoys work tomorrow. All righty. And if you can't, rump it into every bundle you need.
every single one here.
Aye.
Just walk in like Vince McMahon, the big swagger.
Aye, the tallywhacker. Okay, guys. Paul, it's good hearing you again. All right.
Cheers, lads. Cheers, thanks.
All the best. See you later, John.
See you later.
Yeah, before you go, Jerry.
Yes, mate.
You never spoke to John before, hadn't you?
No.
I'll
need to get the twos in touch. John's just moved up your neck of the woods, and I just get the twos in touch with each other, even for just a blether and that, right?
Friends.
Friends. He'll take you up the woods, John.
It's like in between us. It's like in between us.
For him. He's fine and go sheep hunting with us.
Up the house, Jerry.
Right.
Thanks very much again, Jerry. But I'll catch you later on, mate. Right.
I'll see you later, mate.
Bye.
Right. Just call that a night. No, I mean, thanks very much, Paul and John, man, for you just come on for a